Have you ever felt like you were on the verge of a mental breakdown? Maybe you felt like you were doing way too much or like you weren't doing enough. You felt lost, overwhelmed, anxious, ready to explode at any minute, annoyed with your kids, annoyed with your spouse, shoot, even annoyed with yourself. Let us just tell you that you are not alone. This is way more common than you think. Some just hide it better than others. Welcome to Mamas and Mimosas. I'm Marianne.
I'm Roni.
I'm Janelle.
Today we have a special guest with us to share some tips on how we can all improve our mental health, especially during these unusual times we're living in. She's also covering the importance of self-care and when it's time to seek professional help. So grab your drink, and if you have little ones around, pop in those headphones, and let's dive right into episode 29.
Cheers!
Yes!
Oh my god, it's gonna get deep, guys.
A shit show, a pure shit show. It literally takes a village.
I don't know if it was dirty or clean.
Oh my god.
Bad mom.
Like
Yeah.
on fire.
Yes, because I'm shining. Woo! That was good, guys.
Okay, ladies. Since we are on the topic of mommy meltdowns, can you guys recall an embarrassing time when your kid or kids had a meltdown in public? Like, what did you do and how'd you guys feel? Should I go first? I'll go first since I asked.
Okay.
I mean, it's not crazy, but like I remember I'm pretty good about handling when Landon has a meltdown in public, like we're at the store, but first, like I'll just usually take him out of the store and go to the car. But we were at Target and my husband went to the store next door, which was like Dick's or Big Five or whatever. And he had the keys to the car. So when we were in Target, Landon had like a huge meltdown in the dollar section, which is by the door conveniently. But so I just took him outside, but I don't have the keys to the car. And for some reason I didn't have my phone. So I'm like, stuck outside of Target with this like kid throwing a tantrum. He was probably like 3 at the time. And I like had him in the cart, sitting in the front part of the cart, and he's just crying and screaming. And I'm just like trying to ignore him, or just like, you know, normally I would be like, all right, see ya, and just leave him there to like let it out. But I couldn't because there's a ton of people walking by and I'm like, oh my God. And you can see people like side-eyeing or like,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like standing there on my phone, just letting it happen. But in my head and in my like heart, it was like boiling. Like I wanted to snap, but I was like, oh my God, if I like explode right now, everyone's going to see that instead of seeing that I'm just ignoring him and letting it pass. So I let it pass, but it was so embarrassing. Like I felt like my face was so hot from like how embarrassed I was.
Were you red?
Yeah, but that's like the most. Usually I'm pretty good about just taking him to the car and like letting him let it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good meltdown.
I feel like each of the kids have had like a meltdown especially like at restaurants. And I think it was like at between 1 or 2 years old. And me and my husband would take turns, like, okay, one person will go on timeout with them and take them in either the waiting room area or whatever, or take them outside. So we pretty much would swoop them up too. I feel like a meltdown, like my first son told somebody to shut up at the table at Denny's. We were interviewing our wedding DJ, and out of nowhere, I think the DJ started asking him questions, and he was only 2, and he just told him, shut up. Like with so much force. And me and my husband looked at each other and we're like, oh my gosh. And we're like, no, you do not say that. And I felt like everybody just looked at us in the restaurant because it was so quiet, you know? But we were like, you do not say that. You say sorry right now. And like we tried to correct it. We were so embarrassed. We didn't know what the heck to do. But yeah, I feel like. And then recently, I think I told you guys about my daughter. She had a meltdown in a restaurant too, and I had to take her to the bathroom to chill her out because she was like telling me to shush. Yeah. See, I feel like around that age, they're always trying to push the buttons,
yeah,
you know?
they try you. See how far they can go. How funny.
I think I remember one when Devin was about 2. And I think we were in Target or we were in one of those stores. And he wanted like a Lightning McQueen toy or something. And I'm like, no, I'm not buying this. You have all of them. You don't need it. And like he literally legit fell to the ground. Like what you see like on movies and stuff. Like this was his first time ever. Yes, it was the first time ever trying. He fell to the ground like a full-on tantrum. And I was like, this is not happening right now. So I just literally stepped over him and like let him have his tantrum and went on. Like, I was like, I'm not about to do this right now. Everyone was looking, but once he saw that I like ignored him and walked over him, like he stopped and got up and like ran after me. And then once he ran after me, I was like, don't you ever, like, then I got him secretly by the clothes because everyone was like looking, but I like came home like, I'm done with your son. He legit tried me today, like the ultimate test with falling on the ground. And like, I had never had a problem again, but yeah, he tried it.
See, that takes a lot. I think that takes a lot of patience to ignore them. Because I'm one, like, if I feel like everybody's staring, I just swoop them up and take them somewhere that no one can see. Yeah, no one can see us. And then I'll scold them there. Or, you know, like I just get so hot and I feel like
it's crazy because it's always kind of for the other people's reaction, huh? Because it makes you like nervous of like, what are they going to think? They're looking at me like, and everyone has probably already been there before. Yeah. They don't act like it. They act like it's just you.
Because back in the day, it was okay for your parents to snatch
you up right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now it's not okay. So they're wondering like, what are you going to do? Either way, it's embarrassing. If you discipline them or you don't, it's still embarrassing. Yeah. So I'd rather swoop them up or tell them no, or I don't know, get stern with them than like, I don't know. It's harder for me to not say anything because then I feel like they're thinking like, this kid got her on check, you know? So then I'm like, oh God.
well, my thing, I knew like Devin had this thing about like, if you say like, okay, I'm leaving you. Like when he was little, like if he wouldn't come and I'll be like, okay, bye. Well, you're getting left. Then he'll run. Like, so that's the first thing I thought like, okay, if I act like I'm leaving him, maybe he will stop. And he did. And as soon as we got by those shirts, it was over. No, just kidding. Okay, today we are here with the lovely Cassandra. We're going to ask her a few questions, but first, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yes. So my name is Cassandra Spinks Gilbert. I'm from Hacienda Heights, but in the last couple of years, I relocated with my family to Jurupa Valley. We purchased a home here with my husband and our 4 little ones. We have, my oldest is 12 and my middle 2 are twins. They're 3. Oh, wow. And my baby boy is 2. Mm-hmm. We have a blended family. My oldest, we co-parent with her father. Currently, I'm a student services specialist. I work at RCC full-time in admissions and records. My first master's I attained from Cal State Fullerton in student development with the concentration in higher education. Well, in higher education with the concentration in student development. Woo! And, right?
Jesus.
It's too much.
That was her first master's, right?
Right? Get that. The first one. Okay.
Holy
shit. Yeah, I'm crazy. I don't know. And so with that, I knew I really wanted to help people. And I knew that I just didn't know to what exact capacity. I know I loved my experience at the community college and I wanted to serve and give back. And so that's why I pursued that degree. But in my experience in this, I've had some life skills roles, mentor roles, and I really have enjoyed the more one-on-one aspect of helping people. And so that was when I really decided to go back to school for a second master's and obtain my master's in counseling psychology. And so currently I am in that master's program. I graduate in December, but yay! But
She'll be free a little.
So yeah, a little bit. But I currently work as a professional clinical counselor intern.
Nice.
Do you guys, is that what you love doing the most, is interning as a clinical counselor, or
Yes.
like what?
Yes, that's my passion for sure. You know, my plans are to, once I graduate, do all my hours, get licensed so I could open up my own private practice and be a full-time licensed therapist and have my own business.
And which would you, what do you want to specialize in? Like marriage, family?
Definitely individuals.
None of the above.
Yeah, definitely individuals. So far, I really thought going into it, I was going to be interested in everything. I just wanted to learn a little bit of everything, you know? Mm-hmm. And so then I started seeing, I saw a few families and I was like, I don't think this is my cup of tea. But I do enjoy working. I do have a few couples I work with that I do enjoy. And where I really thrive, I feel, is working with individuals. I've had quite a few clients who suffer generalized anxiety disorder, grief, depression, and various other things, various other diagnoses that I've gotten some experience with out of all of it. You know, that's what interning is about, right? Like learning a little bit of everything and really finding where you
want to be.
Yeah, where you want to be. Mm-hmm.
And okay, so can we just talk about these masters? So are these all, so you're currently in school right now, but your first masters, did you have children at the time? And how were you able to balance that?
Master all this.
Yeah.
Tell us the secret.
Yes, my first master's I had my oldest. I started that master's in 2014. And she's 12. So yeah, she was around. And the first year it was hard just because that master's was on site. I was actually going to class. So I was having to trust and depend on family and family friends to help me they would keep her while I was at class, because classes, you know, most grad classes are in the evening. So I would start class at 4 and not be out to like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then we'll have to go pick her up, get her home, get her in bed, you know, do all that stuff. So it was definitely with the help of family. And then my second year of grad school, my husband and I had started dating, and I was pregnant with my twins. So I had my twins and I was pregnant with them, and I had my little one. But at that time, my parents were supportive, and my husband came into my life, and he's been supportive since day one. So he really, you know, with all of their support, I was able to make it happen.
So now with the second master's, it's mostly virtual, or?
Yes, my second master's is through Hope International University, which is literally right across the street from Cal State Fullerton, and it's online. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but my internship, everything else, I have to do things in person, but my learning is done online.
And are you working full time while you're doing that too, or?
Yes, I work full time, and then I see clients part time.
You have 4 kids
and a husband
and a twin.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Can you shed some light on like how you do it? So I know you said your husband helps a lot. Do you get like mom guilt or anything like that, or kind of juggle everything? Or?
Mom guilt. Okay, so when I did my first master's, I had it really bad, especially like that first year. Okay. Because I had classes, I think 2 nights a week. So I was gone 2 nights a week, and then I would be doing homework on the weekends. So it was just a lot. And I would always like check in with her and be like, how are you doing? I know mommy's not around much and I'm busy. And most of the time her response let me know I was tripping, because she would be like, yeah,
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Like, I'll see you when you're done, you know, or why you wake me up to kiss me, you know, stuff like that. And so I realized then, you know, after enough times of that it was really me. Like, I was putting that guilt on myself. My daughter was completely fine. She wasn't even bothered by me or worried about me. So, you know, that was, an eye opener for me. Because even now, when I asked her about it recently, she was like, "Huh? I barely remember." She barely remembers.
I was out playing.
Yeah, I was at my dad's house. I was not worried about you.
So would you so for our listeners who are on the fence of going back to school, but they have little ones at home, would you recommend that, or would you recommend waiting till they're a little bit older, or can you shed some light on like the pros and the cons for going to school while they're young?
I would definitely recommend it because there's no better time than now, really, honestly, because all the back and forth, you know, I went back and forth on starting the second master's, and then all the time, like the couple months I went back and forth, I could have started, you know?
Yeah.
And now this 2 years flew by. I have no idea what's happened since 2018. Well, I know what happens this year, but you know, I'm like, it's just flown by, and I graduate in December and it's over just that fast. You know, so I recommend doing it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I recommend doing it because we always think like, oh, when they get older, I'll have more time. When they get older and, you know, I'll have more free time. I won't have mom guilt, but that's not true. They get older and you still don't have more time. There's schedules and work and life that happens. So there's really not a perfect time to do it. You know, I just think it's easier while they're little, and like Layla don't remember my first one, you know? So all my three little ones, like even now they'll be like, "Okay, mommy, you're gonna go do your homework. See you in an hour." I'm like, "Bye." And I know like in a couple years, if I ask them about it, they're gonna be like, "What? What are you talking about?"
And do you have childcare while you're going to school or working and studying and doing all your homework, or do you still have family helping you?
Mm-hmm. Well, prior to COVID, we did. My kids went to childcare part-time, and then they stood home the rest of the time. And either my parents would come help babysit while my husband and I were working, or my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, would come help babysit. But now, since we're home and COVID is still running rampant, the kids are home with us. So I'm doing my stuff from home. My husband, he's a PE teacher, so he just started back to school, you know, this week. So he's back to work. My oldest back to school, and the little ones are home.
Oh my gosh. Girl.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
So it is possible to get it done, girl.
Yeah.
It's a village. It sounds
There's
like
nothing to it but to do it.
All right, Cassandra, can you tell us exactly what is mental health?
So, yes, mental health refers to, you know, your state of well-being, your cognitive, behavioral, emotional, all that great stuff, the way you think, the way you react, how you cope. And when things happen with stressors in life, it affects your daily living and, you know, the choices you make every day.
And what advice and techniques can you give to moms who are overloaded and about to blow, especially in these crazy COVID times with our kids at home?
It's me right here. Tell me, what do I need to do?
So my first piece of advice is self-care, and lots of it. My second piece of advice is, or, you know, the advice I've been given that's been helpful to me was to, you know, give yourself grace. And it sounds so simple, but in the midst of all the busyness and chaos, we don't do it, you know, and we give it so easily to others, but not to ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's so important to do that because we can't be willing to give something to others, but not to ourselves. And we need that in order to, you know, be our best selves for our family. You know, the laundry can wait, folding clothes can wait, picking up the toys can wait. If you need to go to bed early that night, go to bed early that night. If the kids are napping, you need a nap, take a nap. And I had to learn that. And I learned that on the brink of burnout, you know, earlier this year with everything that was going on prior to COVID, you know, just on the go all the time. My internship, working full time, leaving one, going to the other. I was literally like going nuts. And one of my classmates responded. She was like, "It sounds like you need to give yourself some grace." And I was like, "Ooh." I do. I really do. But, you know, because we put so much on ourselves, like so much expectations, like we have to, like the house has to look a certain way, the kids have to be put together, you know, everything has to be good, when it doesn't always have to be. You know, your mental health is more important than those things that can wait.
Yeah.
The laundry meal doing in the washer.
The laundry, or the cereal in the sink. Cereal. If you look in the sink, we have a bunch of cereal crusted up in there.
You know, as long as no one's eating it and there's not attracting bugs, it can wait a day or two.
Oh my God. So
and for
self-care and give yourself grace, can you explain the self-care part? Because I feel like a lot of people throw it out, but what does it mean?
So self-care is any activity that you do deliberately in order to increase your mental, emotional, and physical health. You know, so an example would be, you know, I've been having a sluggish week. I'm not feeling good. I'm going to get my eating together. You know, I'm going to, you know, eat better, get my water, drink my tea, you know, and to help myself feel better and do it and be intentional about it. And self-care is important because it helps improve your mood, reduce your anxiety, help you to be better prepared for all the life stuff that pops up, right? Rather than being at this anxious state and then something happens and gets you even more anxious or even more worried. Self-care helps us to keep that stuff, keep our base level low. You know, it's really important to be, you know, when I work with my clients, I tell them it's really important to be proactive with self-care rather than reactive, even though reactive is good. If you need it and something's going on, you do it. But it's better to be proactive. You know, you don't have to only do it when you're stressed out. Do it before you're stressed out so that you can able to keep this constant calm, your good mood, your good energy, positive vibes, all that great stuff low. You know, keep your, you know, where you're at low. So when those other things do happen in your life, you're good. You know, you're in a good, healthy mental and emotional and physical state to deal with all the things that come up in our lives on a daily basis.
So would you recommend that on a daily so you just said daily basis, but would you recommend that on the daily or the week or a weekly basis?
Yeah, I think it really, you know, self-care looks different for everyone, but I think, you know, there's things you can't do every day. You know, I can't take a full hour to myself every day to wash my hair, wash and detangle my hair and do a face mask, you know, but I can be intentional on drinking water every day, having tea in the mornings, you know, in the afternoon, once my kids are at nap, I meditate for 20 minutes instead of trying to clean the house. You know, you can do small things on a daily basis that, you know, tend to yourself and help you in your mood.
Are those some of the things that she told you? Because Roni is the one who told us. She was like, when I'm losing it, I call my friend Cassandra and she tells me, she gives me all these tips. So you gotta calm down.
Yep. I'm always on that phone like, Pete, we call each other. Oh, the listeners may not know that she's my best friend. So I'm always like on the phone. We call each other PIC, partner in crime. And I'm like, PIC. When I text that with a whole bunch of exclamation points, she was like, oh Lord, what happened? Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassandra, how can a new mom identify if she's in over her head postpartum, like during these COVID times? Like, when is it time to seek help professionally and how?
There are some major signs that, you know, there's quite a few major signs to look for when telltale signs that you should seek help or professional help. And so some of those are when your unhappiness outweighs, how your happiness, when you no longer feel like yourself, you just feel off, when you have a lot of dark or suicidal thoughts, or, thoughts of homicide or anything like that, harming yourself or others. Your sleep schedule, definitely your sleep. That's one major thing you notice when things are out of whack, when you're stressed, when you're anxious, you're depressed, you're sleeping too much or not sleeping enough. That is one of the major telltale signs you can tell by a person's sleep, how they're sleeping. When symptoms develop, you start to notice yourself, I'm feeling anxious and I've never felt anxious before. Or you have a panic attack when you've never had a panic attack before, or you have panic attacks, right? But now they're increasing in frequency. Instead of, once a day or, once a week or once every other week, you're now having 3 or 4 a week, and the intensity of them is lasting longer than what they typically do for you. Another one is when family or friends tell you, or not tell you, but have a conversation with you, they notice something's off about you. A lot of the times it's your family and your close loved ones who can pick up on it before you can even pick up on it, because they see you acting different, moving different, and they care about you and they love you. So they do want to have that conversation with you and make sure you get the help you need.
Now, is this is this more common for people who have just had babies than it is for like different stages of a woman's life, or
even different stages of motherhood?
Yeah, it can, postpartum can happen later. Like, it doesn't necessarily happen, week 1 after you have the baby. It can develop 6 months later. It can show up later within, I guess, after the baby's born, rather than as soon as after you have the baby.
Can it show up when they're 3?
I think mine just showed up 13. With my 12-year-old.
Yeah, we blame it on that. Yeah. How do you feel about journaling? Because I feel like that's something that I've been hearing a lot about, is like journaling every morning. Do you think that would help with anxiety or your mental health? Maybe journaling things that make you happy, so you can kind of try to find the good in things rather than...
Is that almost like meditating?
And manifesting-ish, think about manifesting too. That's another question.
Oh, I'm here for all of that. Yes. My PICR already knows that. But yes, journaling is extremely helpful. I have clients who do it, and I've suggested it to clients in the past based on my supervisor's referral, that it's very therapeutic. I have clients who I had one client who had been journaling for years. That was her therapy before seeing a therapist, and she still uses it. It's a way to let your emotions out in a healthy way, that you feel safe, that it's going on the paper, no one else's eyes, it's not there for anyone else to read. You're able to process your own emotions and let it out. And journaling is very, very helpful. I don't know. I guess I might kind of journal in a way. Sometimes I do it in my notes on my phone. I don't write it by hand, but I know most people do love to write it by hand. There's something helpful and therapeutic about actually writing.
And then as far as like shed some light on your whole like manifesting ideas or theories.
I think I definitely, I believe in God. He's my Lord and Savior. But I also think that, yes, but I also think you can manifest things. I think that there is a such thing as energy, and using that for doing good things, and that, along manifesting, karma, all the laws of attraction do work together.
For sure. Okay, so I've been researching this whole like journaling thing, right? And some people say to like release your negative energy by journaling it, letting it out, but you don't have to like say it to the person, right? You can just put it out on paper. But then also there's other theories of journaling, like write the things that you're thankful for as if they already happened so that you can manifest them to happen, right? So would that kind of contradict me, like me writing the negative feelings? Does that like manifest the negativity, or am I letting it go? Like I want to release it. I don't want to like put it out in the world.
Oh, so you're saying if you're writing negative things, I don't think so, because you're not, unless you're like wishing bad upon someone.
No, it's more just like letting your negative.
Like my husband's a jerk, does not help with the kids.
Or even your fears. Like sometimes people feel very strongly about not speaking their fears because they're afraid that it's going to happen. But then I listened to this book and they were saying like you have to release them so that you're not holding on to that anymore and that fear. So then I'm like, but will that let that out of the universe?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't think necessarily, because you're letting it out, but you don't have this intention on it. You know, you are more so just releasing it as opposed to manifesting. You read it and you read it over again. You read it daily, or you read it before you wake up or before you go to bed, or when you meditate about it. You know, you don't meditate on your fears and things you let go. Those are things you let go. A lot of people write it and burn it up or rip it up just to get it out. They don't like write out these bad things and then keep thinking about it, you know, or meditate about it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the difference is the intention, and with manifestation, it's a continuous process. You know, you don't just say it once and then walk away. Just like I've read, you know, the law of attraction, the 7 spiritual laws of success or something like that. And they have you put up Post-its, you know, around your room or in your bathroom, or notes on your phone that you're supposed to read before you go to bed or when you wake up. And it's this repetition that manifestation has that, you know, journaling to let things out doesn't.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got your question. We know whose question that was.
I recently had a mom who contacted me to ask us to talk about mental health because she was dealing with baby blues. You know.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would tell somebody about baby blues, or maybe like give them some advice on baby blues? Maybe they're having a hard time, because I think this was her third baby, which was, I don't think she had it on the first 2. I think she's having it now on the third one.
And doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I would, if she, you know, looked it up and she feels as though her symptoms correlate with what the symptoms of postpartum are, I would definitely suggest her to get help, because, you know, you don't want to wait till it's possibly worse. You know, your health and your mental health should be your number one priority for you and your baby. So I would suggest for her to, you know, if all the methods of coping she's trying isn't working, you know, you see yourself not feeling well. So you're trying self-care, you're trying, you know, putting Post-its up, you know, you're journaling, you're doing all this stuff and it's not working, then it's time to seek help. And, you know, with regards to seeking mental health, I always suggest for people to first, if you have insurance, first go through your insurance, because you have it and you pay for it, or, you know, you have it however you have it, and utilize that resource that you have available to you. If not through your insurance, there's a lot of community resources that, you know, that are out there, but people don't know about until they need to look it up. You know, you don't necessarily look things up until you really need it. Right. Yeah. So I would suggest people look up community resources. There's things such as my internship, where I work and see clients through, is actually through a church, and they have a professional care ministry where they have licensed professionals who supervise us interns, and we all see clients. But, you know, you don't have to be a member of the church to utilize those services. And that's such a great benefit to the community, and people have no idea about it. And you can get great services for have the church, we don't take fees. The church, any money you give is donation, and it goes back into the care ministry. There's also, there's plenty of other community resources you can join. There's support groups. If you're like, oh, I'm not ready to dive into therapy, or, any thoughts you have or stigmas about mental health, there are support groups. There's lots of support groups out there through the community or various different resources in your community. Crisis hotlines, if it's an emergency, you're having bad thoughts, you think you're going to harm yourself or someone else, definitely call a crisis hotline, or just 911. Period, and there's also private practices. There's people who have businesses out there. If you can look on their Instagram, Yelp page, see what they specialize in. And then, but that's the difference with that, is that it's out of pocket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people are kind of afraid to admit that they do have a postpartum because they're afraid that they're going to have to take medication. Is that the case all the time, or usually like it's a case by case situation where maybe therapy would help instead of? Oh,
you mean with medicine?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not the case all the time. There's sometimes, depending on the severity, sometimes they may, if you may go to a doctor, they may suggest a medication. And it's always up to you whether you take it or not. The doctor can't force you to take anything. Or, once the doctor tells you, has a conversation with you about it, you could take your time and research it before deciding to take that. But it's not necessarily, doesn't have to always take medication. There's also, natural things out there you can try to use. I don't know them all by heart, and I'm not going to refer someone to something I don't know, but I have heard and have clients told me of different natural things or vitamins or that help with mood regulation as well.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Roni, do you know those? Because you're all natural, Roni.
No, I don't know the mood ones yet.
She hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Not quite there yet. I'm headed.
Yeah, your kids haven't started school yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, seriously. Ask me this in a few weeks. I'm going to be like, yeah, so those meds we talked about, and this, and this.
So do you have any certain calming or self-soothing techniques that we can apply to when our kids have us up to here
about to explode?
Yeah, especially
yes.
Having.
We lost you.
I can't hear you.
You cut out.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Should I ask it again?
Yeah.
Crap. Where did I start?
Do you have any
any coping or techniques for when you want to snatch your kid up, but you shouldn't? So what do we do?
Yes. So my favorite that helps me, because I also deal with general anxiety disorder. So my favorite that helps me the most, I use all the time, is the deep breathing techniques. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, release it for 6 seconds. And I do that and I'm like, oh, okay, I can get back. I don't do it just once. You do it over and over until you feel yourself calm down. You feel the anxious feelings lowering and going down, and then, okay, you can get back to business. There's other things people use too. People use, what's it called? Oils, essential oils, lavender, eucalyptus, stuff like that. CBD that people you put the drops on your tongue, or you could put it in your drinks and stuff. That helps with calming and mood regulation without having anything to do with THC or anything like that. It's safe for you to use. And those are the deep breathing is my favorite for sure. Because it's practical for you to use, especially with little ones. So, other things like there's grounding techniques and imagery techniques where you imagine water or anything calming and stuff like that. But with little ones running around, you don't have time for that. And they're screaming. Yeah. How
How are you here in the water?
Waterfalls.
How can you relax with
Quiet, Hardy. I'm
screaming
trying to
and
listen.
chaos going on? But you can breathe, right? So I'll even do that when I start feeling overwhelmed and I'm at work. I can just do that and my office is full of people, but no one can really tell what I'm doing because I'm just breathing, or while I'm driving or with my kids, I take a second and breathe and then come back like, okay, how can mommy help you? Like, you want another snack? Okay.
A totally different person. They're like, wait, what's wrong with her?
Mommy's doing that thing again.
But that's good. I try to breathe too, but I don't have that 4-second thing. I have to try the 4 seconds in and out.
There's other ones. Some people do like 5 seconds, but 4 is my okay, I'm not going to breathe in longer than this or hold it any longer than this.
Yeah.
I think there's even like those calming apps.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like, are you really gonna hold on, kids? You're driving me crazy. I need my app.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my app. I don't know. I
If you need it that bad.
Yeah, it may be better to pull up the app.
What advice would you give to our listeners, our mom listeners, who know someone that's struggling with mental health and doesn't know how to approach the topic with them?
My advice would be, okay, so first I would say my advice would be not to give advice, right? Because a lot of the times people could take advice or take advice defensively.
Yeah.
So if you feel as though a loved one is suffering for something, it's better to ask questions, pick up the phone, how are you doing? How are you really doing? How can I, and after they're done, don't try to give them advice about how you would deal with it. You just listen, provide them a safe space to get out, what their feelings are, what they're going, let them process. And then from there, it's a matter of how can I help you? How can I support you? What can I do? How can I be involved and be a support to you, my friend? I love you, as a friend, a cousin, sister, brother, whoever, and letting them know that you're not trying to push them to do something they don't want to do, but you recognize something's going on and you want to be a support to them and whatever is happening. And it's also really important to, when you do approach it, be gentle, be kind, because there are although conversations like this are starting to become more normal around mental health, there's still such a large history of stigma associated with it.
Yeah.
So to help the person not get so defensive, approach it in a loving manner and don't make assumptions or try to give them advice or anything like that. Come from a caring place and be kind.
Right. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to admit that they have anxiety or mental health issues because they don't want to be labeled a certain way.
Judged.
Yeah, and it's hard for people to process that, because so imagine you have this thing going on and then someone's trying to tell you what to do. You're like, it's too much for a person to process when they're trying to maybe even accept it themselves, so it's really important to also be mindful that when you're going to have this conversation, know that you might not get the response you want. They may be happy you asked, they may be upset, but it's important that you approach it in a kind, loving, gentle way, and to know you addressed it, to know you are a source of support for that person, and just, plant the seed there. You don't necessarily have to see it come to fruition, right? You could just plant the seed, let them know you care, let them know you recognize something's going on and you're there for support for them. And that's it. Leave it at that. They get upset, but you were there for them. You didn't let your friend, your family member, your whoever go unnoticed, go under your radar.
That's good. Before we end, can we talk about what we do for self-care so that we can give people ideas? Because I think that people believe that they need a full hour for self-care, or like a spa day or something like that. Like, what are some at-home things that people can do or that you guys do for self-care to kind of make sure you get that time?
Marianne says she got the drink. That's self-care. Wait, is that self-care or that's
self-care. That's my medicine for everything.
I'm here for you, Marianne.
hey, that even starts the sex.
Which, you know, is important. It's healthy, okay?
So what about you?
Which is also self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care.
It's good.
For me, because I use self-care as my excuse for everything. So I do a range of things, but what I try to do is self-care Sunday for me. Like, this whole house knows that, like, leave me alone, kinda ish on Sunday, because I'm gonna try to do whatever I can, whether it's face mask, bubble bath, yoni steam, whatever it is. That's like self-care for me. I'm doing it on Sunday.
The yoni is the vagina. For those of you, I didn't know what a yoni was. So she steams that vagina, okay?
So I'm doing it all whatever it takes.
Is that all day long, or is that
no? Of course not.
Sunday or in the evening?
It's usually. I would like to have it all day Sunday, but of course, that's why I said Sunday-ish. It's usually when the kids go to sleep, and Sundays everyone kind of goes to sleep early, so I do have a good stretch of time. Like, my house usually by Sunday, like, people are in here asleep by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. The whole house is shut down, so I have all that time to like do all my stuff, and then sometimes throughout the day, like, I'll throw in a little something here, like if I put a face mask on or something, and then I go get dinner prepared or something and then come back to it. But yeah, I try to do all that stuff on Sunday. It's my day.
Do you have any little things that you trickle in throughout the week?
Throughout the week, so yeah, kind of throughout the week, like, I just make sure that I stay up on like my health, my tea, or a shower with
shower. Just period.
Shower. But you know how crucial a shower could be with kids. So I even do things in my shower. Like, I have a shower diffuser that you put essential oils in there and you turn it on, and it gives you like a spa treatment in the shower. Or I'll do like shower, and we'll link them. Yeah, for sure. We'll link it. I have like shower bombs, like bath bombs. You put them in the shower and they give you like, make you feel like you're at the spa, even though you have to take like a 10-minute shower because somebody's going to come in there because somebody's fighting or something. But yeah, it helps.
And then you also do the essential oils throughout your house, don't you?
I have diffusers probably in every room in here. Yep. Some diffusers and some crystals in every room in this house. So yeah, those are the things throughout the week that kind of help me keep going and not tear everybody apart in here.
And what about you, Cassandra? Do you have things that you trickle in throughout your week? Your busy week?
Right?
Yes, I definitely do self-care Sunday. And I usually work out, wash my hair. Then me and my oldest daughter, we do face masks together, that's towards the end, but that's our little time together too. We do our face masks and stuff, and she be all in my face products. And during the week, I try to eat good. I'm vegan, so I try to stay on the healthy side of being vegan. Fruits, veggies. I drink lots of water. I have tea throughout the day. Always some sort of stress-free or honey lavender calming tea. Okay,
and
which is also
chamomile during the day, or
I use calming teas particularly because, as I mentioned before, I have anxiety, and so caffeine makes anxiety worse. Caffeine amplifies anxiety times a crazy number. And I didn't realize it until I was like going through it. That was like about 2 years ago. And my doctor was like, you drink coffee? Like, how did we miss that? You didn't put that on your intake, on your paperwork when you first go to the doctor. So I drink calming teas throughout the day because it helps me to keep my anxiety low, to stay relaxed. Like first thing in the morning, you know, instead of having coffee, I have calming tea. I have, this one is like honey lavender or something. Or I'll have it multiple times. I'll have it at lunch if my kids have been acting crazy, you know, and I put them down for nap, you know, I make some tea. Or sometimes throughout the
calming tea on
You'll have to tell us so we can link it for the listeners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can send it to you guys.
I started trying to drink tea, but it was green tea, and I felt like I was getting like kind of shaky at different
It has caffeine in it.
Yeah, a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, and I'm the same way with caffeine too. Like if I drink straight coffee, like I'll start twitching too.
That's supposed to be a substitute for coffee, is the green tea.
Is it really? I think it's like good for my metabolism and all.
Like it's a healthier version.
I thought you were going to say you were running back and forth to the bathroom after you drink it. Green tea like a laxative too.
That's probably why it's good for your metabolism. It keeps
it keeps you moving.
Marianne?
I normally just work out, or I also have been doing like devotional readings. So I'll do that like either first thing when I wake up or when I go to sleep. I'll do like a devotional thing. And then throughout the day, whenever the boys take a nap, I get my workout in. And that for me is like my anxiety reliever. Like I cannot go a day without working out, or else I'll be like I'll be in a bad mood if I don't work out.
Yeah. I was like that for a little bit, and I'm still kind of like that, but now, you know, we only have so much time when our kids nap, right? So I kind of rotate. Like certain days I do a garage workout. We have all this equipment in our garage. So certain days I'll work on the garage, and other days like today, once they nap and the house is quiet, I meditate. I'll meditate for like 30 minutes. And if I still have time before they're up, I'll bring in my bands, you know, my resistance bands, and do a little workout in the house, you know, not something major that I'm going to take an hour, then have to shower, you know, and do all this stuff. So I do that too. That really helps, especially, you know, that midday break, you know.
So can you kind of elaborate on the meditating? Because I've never meditated before, and I know that Roni said that she's also trying to meditate. And I just, do you sit there in silence? Do you sit there with music? Do you have an app? How do you prefer to meditate?
I recently started meditating, so I'm a beginner. I'm like just a couple weeks in, so I'm not a pro at all. But I sit in silence. Well, sometimes I sit in complete silence, or sometimes I have an app that I use that's like, what is it called? Actually, I have it here. I can send it to you guys so you can show them. But I have an app that I use that plays sounds that are... what is it called? Relax. It helps like trigger a response to relax your mind. It's called binaural beats or something like that. And so I'll use that, and I will meditate, stay silent, you know, focus on my breathing. And I'll do that for about like 30 minutes until I get, or most of the time, sometimes I go longer because I'm deeper in the meditation, so I actually forget that I'm meditating or time. Like I won't set a timer, because I notice if I set a timer, the whole time I'm anticipating the timer going off. So that doesn't work. But so sometimes I do go over, but you know, that's okay. If the kids wake up on my hair, it's going to be done anyway.
You're going to be out of that space anyway.
So you try to clear your mind and just focus on your breathing. Do you try to I
try to clear my mind completely, you know, and the first couple times I did it, I was like, oh, this isn't working. But I realized that's part of the problem. You know, our mind, we're constantly thinking and don't necessarily realize that's not good. That's toxic. Like we should be able to just stop and be, you know, and sit and be, and, you know, do a body scan, you know, how you're feeling, what's going on with yourself, and just be for however many minutes without your mind necessarily racing all these constant thoughts. Like that's not good for us
at all. My husband and I have been doing sleep meditations
It's good.
Wait, what do you mean sleep meditation?
There's like different kinds of meditations. Like you can do a gratitude, you can do like a happy meditation, and there's like sleep meditations. So we do it at night, and we like don't even make it to the end because we just knock out.
Really?
It's nice, and we get like we've noticed we have better sleep. Like when we wake up, we're rested, and it's weird. Like,
so you lay there and you just like focus on your breathing?
well, so we have just recently got a Peloton, and it has like, you know, the Peloton app, and on there they have different meditations you can do. So you can do like the great gratitude one or relaxing one or whatever. So we choose the sleeping one, and it's like you can choose to like sit and close your eyes, or you can choose to like lay down and like actually be in your bed. And we just lay there, and it plays music, and it tells, like, they talk to you, like, relax your body. Like, if you have any fidgets, like, move your body so that, like, you're in a position that you can feel relaxed and not, like, feel like something's itching you or whatever. And, like, release your tongue from the top of your mouth. Wow. Because, like, when you're tense, your tongue's up on your mouth of your roof of your mouth, or, like, certain things, like, whatever tension you have today, like release it like it's something melting out of your body. It's so crazy because at first we were like, even my husband was super skeptical, but then we like never make it to the end of them, and we're like, hey, we feel so good in the morning.
It really helps. And too, for beginners, because it's like you would get discouraged because you're like, when they tell you, and they have apps that will coach you through it, but like it's hard to get in that space. Like it takes some time for you to be able to do that. So
you
don't
have an open mind.
Right, yes. Don't think right when you go to meditating that you're going to be able to like
relax.
You're not. It takes like, you have to be repetitive so that you can get to that space. And then once you get to that space, you'll be like, oh, so this is what they're talking about.
Try it. I want to try it.
Yeah, you have to try it.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
So I shave my legs on Sundays.
Yeah, what do you do for your self-care?
Special Sundays that I shave my legs.
Is that your self-care on Sundays, shaving your legs?
Yes. Oh, and I rub the almond oil like all over my body. It's only on Sundays. But I mean, throughout the week I'll work out, or I do the intermittent fasting. So I feel like anything that I get to fit in for me, even if I like wake up early, work out, take a shower, get makeup on and dress, to me, like that's self-care.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Even though it's something that you have to do on the daily anyway, but it's
it's still self-care because some people don't.
Yeah. And then I like to listen to like positive self-improvement podcasts. So I'll link.
Oh, like personal development.
Yes.
Mamas and Mimosas.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. But no, thank you guys for sharing what you guys do for your self-care, because now I have all these tips. I need some facials, me and Ray. Hey, how young can you put those facials on? My daughter can too. Will that like mess up your skin?
No, they have kid stuff, or you can just fake. Yeah, they have kid stuff, or you can just fake it. You can bake it
on her face.
Yeah.
Or with something natural. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, that'd be cute. She would be all about it.
No, you inspired me that you do that with your daughter. I think that's so cute.
We take our little selfies. I feel like the cool mom when she puts me on her TikTok.
Yeah, when you make it to TikTok. Doing big things when you make it to TikTok. Oh, well, it's been so amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me
and shedding some light for us.
And where can our listeners connect with you, Cassandra? Like on Insta or?
I have an Instagram. It's Cassandra.SpinksGilbert. At Cassandra.SpinksGilbert. And that's kind of my Instagram. I started, as a professional clinical counseling intern, and I've posted some information on there. And I've taken a break from it a little bit since since COVID and everything going on. But, that's the Instagram where I put, mental health information, advocate for, you know, mental health awareness, and that I'm going to carry and develop as I go into my career.
Awesome. And we will link that below too, so y'all can find her. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group, where we chat with you about each episode's topic and host live question and answers with our favorite mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.